With over 800 exhibitors gathering in Las Vegas, Nevada, NBAA-BACE is North America's largest gathering for the business aviation industry. After being forced to cancel the event in 2020, NBAA 21 will simply not disappoint. With unprecedented demand for private aircraft coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, the world's most advanced business aircraft are here on display. Suppliers up and down the supply chain are represented here at this event and come together with private, corporate, and commercial business aviation operators from across the industry, all ready to meet face-to-face once again and collaborate in advancing the business aviation industry. Our next guest here on Straight and Level, live from NBAA, is a familiar face. It's Rick Mosteller, the founder or co-founder of Palomar Aviation. Rick, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me, Hulsey.
I really appreciate it. We just aired your episode of Palomar Aviation, Flight Training in the 21st Century. Thank you so much for having us out to produce that episode. Really, I just want to talk a little bit about NBAA, the state of the industry and where you see aviation today. What are your thoughts on the amazing growth that we're seeing in private aviation right now?
I think there's a big resurgence happening in GA, private aviation, general aviation. If you asked that question about 10, 15 years ago, I think it was declining. But in the last year, I've seen a huge uptick. People are coming back to learn to fly. It's always been on their bucket list. It's about time. They know that now it is about time to go learn to fly, get their license, and now that we have the aircraft that we do that provide all the safety equipment as well as the advanced avionics, now's the right time to do it.
Well, Palomar Aviation is an exclusive Cirrus shop. Tell me a little bit about Cirrus airframes and how that's so important to your business, or why you chose the Cirrus airframe for flight training.
Yep, Cirrus is the #1 selling GA piston aircraft in the world. They were founded about 25 years ago. Their very first aircraft included a full airplane parachute, and every airplane since that has been developed by Cirrus, either their piston or now their new Vision Jet includes that parachute. We chose to be Cirrus exclusive, so we're a platinum Cirrus training center in San Diego, and we do all of our training in that glass cockpit with those safety systems, really training people to be the best pilots they can be with the right advanced avionics that's available.
We were blessed to see that in action when we were out in Palomar, watching your incredible instructors train many of your students. I think that it goes to the affinity to the Cirrus airframe that people choose to train in that aircraft, and so many of your students look to acquire them. How often do you see people flight training looking to actually get into aircraft ownership?
That's a great question. There's a lot of training schools around the country that train people to move to the airlines, and there's young people that are learning to fly. We have about 100 people that have trained with us at Palomar Aviation over the last 2.5 years, and not a single one of those is going to the airlines. Instead, those people that are training with us in the Cirrus airframe are looking for either airplane rentals or airplane ownership. So they're looking to aspire to buy their own airplane, to fly their family, to have the equipment and the safety equipment around them and around their family that allows them to get the time machine that an airplane is. Because it truly is a time machine to get from point A to B in 1/4 the time. We flew from San Diego this morning out here to Las Vegas. We had breakfast in San Diego. We didn't leave till about 9 o'clock, and we were landing here at about 10:45.
So how many of your student pilots come into aviation, just cold, where they've never really been around general aviation before, or do you see more pilots who used to fly and are now rusty pilots, or how many people, I guess, are really expanding the industry? You're on the front lines. Can you quantify that for me?
Yeah, the people we've had through Palomar Aviation are about 50%, 50-50. 50% were either PPLs in the past, private pilot license in the past, maybe rusty. Maybe they flew 10, 15, 20 years ago. Some of them owned airplanes, owned older airplanes that might be 30 years old. But they've always been wanting to get back into aviation. Maybe they went off and raised a family, built a business, sold a business. Now they have time. And as we say on our website and on the front page, it is all about time. They're able to now take those skills that they started way back when, improve them for the new systems, and then use the aircraft as a time machine to go from A to B with either their family or possibly for business purposes. And it's about 50-50. The other 50% come to us brand new. It's always been on their list to learn to fly. Maybe they postponed it while they raised their family. Now they have the time and the money to train. And what they're not looking to do is train alongside kids right out of high school. They're looking to train in more of a concierge program, and that's what we offer at Palomar Aviation, is more of a concierge type service for flight training.
Rick, how important is it in San Diego that you're able to train pilots in all 4 seasons and in all weather conditions?
We have a lot of weather in San Diego at various seasons. For instance, in the summertime, we do have a marine layer. We teach people how to go through and fly through that marine layer once they aspire to earn their instrument ticket, their instrument rating, which allows them then to take their family up through, get above the layer, and continue to fly. Also, by flying all seasons of the year, it keeps them proficient, so that they do not take 1 or 2 or 3 months off because of weather. They're able to continue flying throughout all the weeks of the year to get to the locations they're looking to fly to.
So as you look at the industry with unprecedented demand for your private aviation today, on the front lines of pilot training, do we have the tools to train pilots to be able to meet the demand of 35% year-over-year growth? Is the industry prepared for this level of pilot demand?
Well, that's a great question too. Maybe not. I think we have some work to do to make the industry prepared. I think working with high functioning and high capability simulators is a good piece of that. Also, leveraging online training material that's standardized is also a great learning tool. I do compliment Cirrus on their Cirrus Approach portal to help in creating that type of top quality content that we then incorporate into our training system and training protocol and our syllabus in order to bring pilots all the way through from their first discovery flight up through their training and their solo flight, and then finally their check ride prep to achieve their pilot license.
So do you think that the pilot shortage, in your opinion, on the front lines is going to be further exacerbated?
Yes, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think automation will also help as we start to see more and more automation coming in. But still, as we mentioned a minute ago, a highly trained pilot is the best safety equipment you can have on an airplane, both making the right decisions as well as being a competent airman.
Rick, thank you so much for joining us here today. I sincerely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on Straight and Level live here at NBAA in the middle of the static display.
Thank you, Hulsey.
Stay tuned, more coming up next. It's great to be back face-to-face in the business aviation industry. On behalf of the crew of Straight and Level, a special thanks to all of our guests for joining us live on the broadcast set in the NBAA static display. I'm Hulsey Smith, and until next time, blue skies.